Hi everyone, you have joined the Foot Health Series Part 2 today, and we are going to talk about how do you know if you need orthotics. I'm Dr. Jeanette DeWitt with DeWitt Physical Therapy and Wellness here in southeastern Wisconsin. I'm a physical therapist, a certified athletic trainer, and a fitness coach. And the reason I want to talk to you today about orthotics is because there's a lot of people out there with feet problems, joint problems, and back pain. And it can actually be starting from your feet. If you stand a lot during the day, if you walk, the way your foot hits the ground is super important, and making sure that everything above your feet, including your knees, hips, and back, are in alignment so that you can ease some of the aches and pains you might be having. Now, orthotics aren't for everybody, but there are specific reasons on why somebody may have an orthotic or may need an orthotic. And some of those purposes for an orthotic are simply that, one of which I just said, is putting your body in a better alignment or a neutral foot position so that your foot is neither rotated one way or rotated the other way. You want it to be nice and neutral. So when we create that neutral foot with an orthotic, it can help to create better alignment in the knee and in the hips. The other reason that people need an orthotic may be for arch support. And again, this is for somebody who maybe has a flat foot or whose arch is collapsing when they walk. So instead of going from heel to foot flat and then pushing off, their arch right and through here actually collapses in, almost to the point, and I've seen it actually happen, where the arch actually hits the floor. It collapses so much. The other reason to have an orthotic is just create a better alignment of the foot and ankle. And again, that goes back to that neutral foot position. By creating that better foot alignment, then you can ease aches and pains and all the joints above the foot and ankle. Now, how do we know if you need an orthotic? Well, if you are experiencing foot pain, such as plantar fasciitis along the arch of your foot, heel pain when you first wake up in the morning, ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, or back pain, these are all potential reasons you might need an orthotic to help give you better support. If the pain is absent when you wake up, it may be related to your foot position when your foot hits the ground. So you haven't been on your feet, the pain is gone. This could be a sign that you could benefit from an orthotic. Another sign could be if your pain decreases when you're sitting or not standing, meaning you're not putting weight on your feet. So if your pain decreases when you are sitting, then you're not putting as much strain on your feet and on the joints of your legs because you're not standing or walking around. So decreased pain when you sit could be indicative of needing an orthotic when you stand and walk. And then the third reason would be if your pain increases as the day progresses. So the more you're standing, the more you're walking, you're putting more stress on a foot that maybe isn't in a great position, and an orthotic could alleviate or diminish significantly your aches and pains. So those four reasons, if you're experiencing pain in your joints or back pain of the lower legs, pain in the lower legs or back pain, as well as pain in the foot and ankle, that would be one reason that you might benefit from an orthotic. The second would be is if when you wake up, all your aches and pains are gone. The third reason would be if you're sitting and your aches and pains decrease significantly. And then number four, if your pain increases the more you're standing and walking, it could be indicative of an orthotic being able to help you. Now, what do I mean when I talk about the position of the ankle and the knee? That neutral foot position, also known as a biomechanical position of the foot and ankle. This means that your foot is neither falling in or falling out. So for example, if you look down at your feet and your feet are kind of falling in, meaning your arches are closer to the ground than the outside of your foot, this means that your ankles are pronated, okay, or your foot is pronated. It's creating an angle or a flattened arch. If you look down and you are more on the outside of your foot, this is more of a supinated position. Both of these positions put different stresses on the lower legs or the knees, on the hips and on the back. So an orthotic might help to correct that pronated falling in position or that supinated falling out position. The other way you can look to see if you might benefit from an orthotic is looking in the mirror. If your knees kind of cave in because your feet are more flattened or your arches are collapsing into the floor, an orthotic can help to lift those arches up and then correct some of that knee valgus or knee falling in position. I also call it, if your knees look like they're kissing in the mirror, then that's called a genu-valgus position. And the problem with that position is it creates a lot of stress on the inside of the knee, and it's actually a perfect recipe for a growing athlete, or any athlete for that matter, for an ACL tear in competition. So that flattened foot, that falling in at the ankles position, that knee valgus or knee kissing position causes the hips to rotate in, and it sets people up for an ACL tear in a competition. So definitely want to be looking for that. Now that knee kissing position or that valgus position may not be coming from the feet. It could be coming from weak hips or instability in the knee or a host of other issues. So I don't want you to think that, oh, I get an orthotic that corrects everything. There are other things that are factors with a genu-valgus or a knee falling in position, and weakness is often a major contributor. Now, let's also talk about, in regards to foot position, the big toe versus the little toe. And what I mean by that is, again, if you look down at your laces, if your feet are falling in and somebody stands behind you, what they're going to see is they're going to see less of your big toe and more of the outside of your foot. Because they're seeing, because your feet are falling in, the ankles will kind of hide your big toe. And the person who's standing behind you is not going to see as much of that big toe. And I've actually gotten down on my hands and knees and looked at people's feet position, and I've had cases where their feet are so collapsed in, I don't even see the big toe. And this is a case where we definitely need to support the arch so that we can create more of a neutral foot position. Now, the opposite of that is if somebody's standing behind you and looks and they see less of your little toe, this is going to be where that arch is high. So maybe in a what we call a pes cavus position or a high arch position. And because they're putting more weight on the outside of the foot, they see the little toe less. And so they're going to see a lot of the big toe, maybe even the second toe if they're standing behind you. This is that supinated position. Again, this means that the foot is not in this nice neutral position. It's rotated on the outside or lateral border of the foot. And we can actually get some issues at the knee with that, because now we're looking at a genu-varus position or a bow-legged position in someone. So neither of these things are great, is when the foot is collapsing in or when the foot is high arched and on the outer border of the foot. And so what we do is we look at an orthotic. Now, I utilize the Vasili Medical Company orthotics, and I do these in-house. And so here's some samples. This general blue orthotic, got left and right. This is a basic general orthotic that's going to give a nice type of arch support. It's a medium density type of arch support. It's going to give a little bit, but it's fairly rigid right in through the arch support. What I love about these products is I can mold them in-house with a heat gun. So I just blow some heat on here, and then I have somebody fit, and then I can mold them right to the person's foot. This is ideal, a very common orthotic for the general population. A very similar product that I use would be the Vasili Medical High Density. This is going to be for someone who is athletic, who's really going to put their feet into the pounding, a lot of pounding. So athletes, high activity, people who might be on their feet a lot. So industrial workers, grocery store clerks, people who are standing and just putting a lot of pressure on their feet. And for overweight clients as well, this is high intensity or high density material is going to absorb more of the force and also be more durable for them. Another great product for the athletic population is this one here. Again, this is a good density, doesn't give a lot. It's great for athletic shoes as well as for boots. So there's a lot of different options that people have, and I can customize those for people by giving like a heel lift within that, and I can just attach that right to the orthotic. This is great for people who have maybe Achilles tendonitis issues. We need to actually shorten the tendon a bit so that we take pressure off the tendon as it's healing. And then, of course, I can always remove it. And then there's really good inserts here as well, and different wedges and things that I can add to the product of the orthotic just to make it even more customizable. And that's the key. There's a lot of the over-the-counter products that work very well. Studies actually show that over-the-counter orthotics work 50% of the time just as well as a very expensive orthotic. So these are over-the-counter orthotics as well. They're not going to be molded to your foot and per se like a casting type of an orthotic, but they can work just as well as those type of orthotics. So there's different type of products out there for people. Some you can go right to the store and purchase them. They're not as customizable. People don't always purchase the right orthotic. And if that doesn't happen, if you get the wrong orthotic for your foot, you could end up flaring up your symptoms even more. So I do advise either seeking someone like myself, a physical therapist who is trained to customize an orthotic to you. I use an over-the-counter type and then have different customizable options that I can add to that, or seeking a podiatrist to also do like a cast molding. This is a little bit of a less expensive option to start with, about $50 to $70 for these type of orthotics compared to some of the $400 to $800 type of orthotics you might have with a customizable cast-it type model. So lots of options are available to you. And if any of these issues that I talked about, if you can identify with these, I really encourage you to reach out to me. You can contact me at 262-842-2220, or you can visit my website at www.dewittptwellness.com, or you can email me directly at jeanette@dewittptwellness.com as well. But I do encourage you to reach out and at least contact me for a discovery visit where I can take a look at your foot. It's a complimentary discovery visit. So you'll get some answers at that session in regards to, are you going to be able to benefit from an orthotic, or is something else really the root cause of the problem that an orthotic really isn't the first place to start? So I encourage you to do that. I hope this is helpful information to you. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and contact me with that information that I provided you. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you well.